And we're very proud of the fact that actually we've trained over 4,000 mental health first aiders last year who are out in our construction community, and they are watching for the signs. We do mental health awareness courses and suicide awareness courses. Sadly, even today, there are 2 construction workers every week across Ireland and the UK that are taking their life by suicide. And that's not just a statistic. They're real people we're talking about. That has an impact on the people that they work with. It has an impact on their families and their communities, whether it's a Gaelic club or a darts club or a karate or whatever it is. It all has a really kind of a ripple effect on a lot of people. So these are the types of things that we're dealing with every day, and these are the type of things that we're trying to fund.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to I'm The Gaffer. Very interesting and topical conversation today in regards to mental health within the construction sector. Now, we have had a number of guests on in the past who have detailed their trauma in this area in terms of their lived experience. But what are we doing in terms of organizational support? Is there a reach out that we can get to? Is there supports that we have that are structured, that are meaningful, and that have impact? Well, I have 2 people with me today from Ireland, and they're going to talk about the Lighthouse Charity. I've got Mary Grady. She's the Lighthouse Charity Partnership Manager for the Ireland East region. And I've got Alan Worrall, who's the Health and Safety Manager for Walls Construction, a leading construction company in Ireland. And he's also the Vice Chair of the Lighthouse Club Committee in Ireland. And I'm really appreciative of their time because we've had so many calls in the past and comments about people struggling with regards to their health and mental health. And if anything comes up today that is a trigger for you, we will have links at the end of the show where you can get support in terms of anything that might be of trigger. Alan and Mary, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to have you.
Thanks for having us, Gavin.
To be here.
We got there eventually with a few technical issues, but like anything else, you figure it out. So Mary, maybe you kick things off with us. First of all, where did you get your career in construction, and how did this all come about that you are now in the leading position with regards to the Lighthouse Charity? And maybe just give us a quick overview on the charity.
Well, yes, thank you. So I actually am only with the Lighthouse Charity since November, but it seems to be kind of a natural progression from my career to date. My background is in aviation, funny enough, but it was always with regard to kind of well-being and, again, a highly regulated industry where safety is paramount. I suppose in terms of the Lighthouse Charity, wellbeing construction and building a culture of care really needs to be out there at the forefront. The Lighthouse Charity was set up 70 years ago, really by construction workers for construction workers. And our aim is that no construction worker or their family should struggle alone. We offer 3 pillars of support: emotional well-being, emotional support, physical well-being support, and financial well-being support. Under each of those headings, different things fall under them, whether it be loneliness, whether it be mental health, whether it be suicidal thoughts, relationship breakdowns. We look after addictions. We help people through those and getting the right help. And we're finding that silent gambling actually is a big thing at the moment as well. But people struggle and they don't know where to reach out. And in fact, out of all calls to our charity lines and our web chats last year, 55% of them referred to financial struggles. So we have helped with light bills, we've helped with rent arrears, we've helped with food shops, and I've lots of statistics around that. But what we really want to do is really just to make sure that people who are struggling know that there is help out there, that they don't have to struggle alone, and to take note of our website and take note of our helpline numbers and our web chats, etc., and to tell them the pathways to help should they want it.
Wow, amazing. In terms of your own role, Alan, where do you fit in here? I know, obviously, it's a major company that you work for, and for you to spend your own time or give up your own time, obviously as a volunteer, well done, congratulations for a start. Maybe how do you fit in? Where does your connection with regards to your role within the charity, and what does that look like?
Yeah, thanks again for that. And Mary, you've certainly left me in the limelight there. Thanks for that. Really appreciate it. I suppose I've been involved in construction since about 1990, various different roles and functions. I moved into the health and safety role or function with Walls in April 2003. I had worked with the company for a number of years prior to that, but moved into the health and safety role in 2003. I suppose the first 16 years I would have been site-based, so dealing with the usual day-to-day stuff on site. You know, people, you arrive at the site, inductions, inspections, audits, you know, dealing with any incidents, accident incidents on site. It's the day-to-day stuff. The beauty of construction as an industry, every day is different. It's very fluid. It's very dynamic. That's one of the joys of the industry, is that it gives you great opportunity to develop your role in the industry if you feel it's for you. And certainly I had that for the 16 years and various different projects I was involved, which were predominantly in the Dublin, Leinster region. I suppose in 2019, there was an opportunity to move up the company and move up the department. So I became a health and safety coordinator. So I went from a situation where it was my Monday to Friday and the odd Saturday I was based on site, to visiting site and supporting other members of the team. And I suppose things were starting to be on the up in the industry as well. We come out of the crash and a couple of very good years there, and obviously COVID kicked in 2020, and then it was a bit of a reset for us all. And then I suppose in 2022 I was promoted to health and safety manager within the company, which I'm very proud to hold the role. And as we talk here today, we've a team of 42 within the department, health and safety, environmental, highly professional individuals, supporting the site teams and also supporting the boots on the ground as well. In 2021, during just the second year of COVID, I was approached by one of our senior directors here to get involved in the charity. We had always been involved in the charity as a company, but I suppose to reignite and get somebody on the team, on the committee, get the committee active again. And it's hard to believe that's coming up to 5 years. And straight away I found something that I felt I could really put my shoulder against the wheel on. Unfortunately, I've seen the situation where I've seen people dealing with various different situations in life, whether dealing with stress or dealing with other issues that kind of manifest themselves. Very much the HSE person on site, he or she is generally where, you know, people will go or hover to as a kind of signpost on where they need to go, or have you advice on this, that, and the other. And we always instill in members of the team, you know, always keep your door open, adapt a holistic approach and help. And that's really the cornerstone of a very good health and safety professional, that they're a good listener and they're impartial and they're there to support and advise and to signpost. It's very, very important. So involvement in the charity, I then went and I became a mental health first aider, and it gave me an understanding about mental health and so forth. I have some experience of that, both personally and in my own family, and seeing the other side and how the help and support that is there, and through friends as well that have been affected by various different examples of it as well. So I felt it was an opportunity to get involved in it, in that I've not only experienced bad days and good days and bad days, not too many bad days, and I got involved with it and just love being involved in the charity. And there's a great energy there in the committee and attending the events and having the supporters involved, the various different companies, and getting the message out there, and being very proud to be involved in representing Walls as a company, as a tier 1 contractor, and representing the charity coming up to 5 years now. Wow. And to continue to do that, and like, it's a little bit like health and safety. You know, the job is never done. We're always developing it. We're always trying to make it better. We're looking at the resources. Mary coming on board in the last number of months has reignited and energized us all, and it's fantastic to have somebody like Mary. I've had an opportunity to do a few pieces with Mary over the last couple of months and attended a few events together, which is lovely to see. And that's the one thing about the charity is that they're great people. They're people that care, and having that there is really great. It's our committee is small, but we're very dynamic and we're very resourceful, and we want to go out, and it's all about making change. And that's really where I continue to have the energy for it as well. I'm one of these people that I'm a people person, and it's one of the key elements of the charity is having that engagement with somebody, and it's okay not to be okay, and and to reach out to somebody, and as you get more and more into the understanding of what the charity does, and through doing the mental health first aid, of course, you get the little telltale signs where somebody's not themselves, and you know, and like I'm not an expert on it, and I never allude to be, but it's understanding where to reach out to somebody and say, by the way, have you spoken to anybody about this, or are you aware of the service the charity provide you? And it's all free, and you know, we'd be delighted to help you in any way we can, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I mean, it's out there, and it's out in the public domain now. I mean, mental health is a huge thing there, you know.
Let's talk about that then. So say I'm, Billy Blogs roofers, and mental health, as we all know, has touched everybody in some way, shape, or form. How do they get involved? Like, is it, you don't have to be too small, I'd imagine. You don't have to be too big. It's like, maybe you could just give a bit of your time, or is there a membership model, or how does that work, guys? Maybe Mary, you're probably best to answer that.
There are plenty of ways of getting involved. So we have plenty of models going, and I suppose the biggest thing to take out of all of this is that the need is rising. Like 20 over in the first quarter of this year, there was an increase of 25% of families reaching out for help, and 44% uplift in terms of the counselling sessions that we delivered. And to do this, we need basically to know that there is money coming in so that we can actually deliver those services. And we've been very, very lucky. People support us in various ways. There are some companies, large or small, and they will give us, an annual pledge, for example. Now, that annual pledge can be any amount. We never fix an amount on it. Some give it in the hundreds, some give it in the thousands, and that's okay. But what the annual pledge allows us to do is it allows us to plan and budget for the services that we can give over the following year. So that is always very welcome. And then there are companies, and they arrange lighthouse days for us. So individual fundraisers, and those fundraisers will, bring in some money to us as well. It's our 70th anniversary this year, so we're using that as a platform to raise awareness, which is fantastic. Today, actually, in the Phoenix Park, there are several companies who have teams running in the staff relay series, and are raising funds for us that way. And others, there's golf classics going on with other companies, and all sorts of different things. So they're all very, very welcome. So that's really kind of how the money comes in. People donate, they do fundraisers, and they support our events. And I know that we'll be talking a little bit later on about the major event here in Ireland, which the committee organised, which is our summer lunch on the 12th of June. So these really, really do support everything we do. But I suppose the key thing really is that just to make sure that people are aware we are there. We have our Make It Visible van that goes round on site, and that's where two construction workers go round and they talk about their lived experiences, and it can be very impactful. And the themes of each visit is it really does depend on the lived experience for those on the van on that day. So some will deal with themes of financial struggle, some will be about physical struggles, and some will be about emotional struggles and self-harm, suicide, mental health. I mean, we really do need to be kind of getting it out there that your mental health really is just like your physical health. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. And we just really have to look after it. And we're very proud of the fact that actually we've trained over 4,000 mental health first aiders last year who are out in our construction community, and they are watching for the signs. We do mental health awareness courses and suicide awareness courses. Sadly, even even today, there are 2 construction workers every week across Ireland and the UK that are taking their life by suicide. And that's not just a statistic. That's they're real people we're talking about. That has an impact on the people that they work with. It has an impact on their families and their communities, whether it's a Gaelic club or a darts club or karate or whatever it is. It all has a really kind of ripple effect on a lot of people. So these are the types of things that we're dealing with every day, and these are the type of things that we're trying to fund. We will always lead with the services. You do not have to pay anything to get our services. You just have to reach out and ask for it. We have a helpline. It's 1-800-939-122. That will be available at the end of the podcast, I know. And we also have a web chat. Now, the web chat is wonderful because we can do everything we can on the 24/7 helpline, on the 24/7 web chat, and we can cope with over 100 languages. I think it's 120 languages. So we will have somebody talking to you in your own native tongue there. Now, I'm not saying that person that's looking after you will be speaking Turkish or Ukrainian or German or whatever it is, but we're using the technology to translate. It's not a bot, it's a real person, and we will help you in any way we can. We want to get to people before really they're at that crisis stage. And, that's why we go around and we raise awareness. I always feel that if we tell people about the services and if they've had a chance to avail of them, they know what we do and they will be our biggest evangelists and advocates. And that really helps us keep the charity going.
Hi guys, as you're enjoying this podcast, I just wanted to take a few seconds to let you know about my company, Coyle Group. We're not just another safety recruitment agency. We're your partners in building a safer future. With over 25 years of experience and more than 1 million hours of safety work completed, our mission is clear. Provide top-tier health and safety contractors tailored to the unique needs of your project. We also carry out on-site construction audits. From wind energy to power stations, utilities and engineering projects, our global reach and specialised expertise ensures your operations are not just compliant, but exemplary. For more information on how ensuring safety and sustainability of your products using our team of HSE contractors, visit coyle-group.com or click on the show notes or video description now. I've also put a booking link into the description for you to click and have a one-to-one conversation with me. Now, back to the podcast. Enjoy and see you soon. Brilliant. The statistic is sticking in my head, obviously, of the people that are doing it every year or every week. And they're the ones you know about. But there's also the undocumented people that we don't know about. So the figure more than likely is higher than that without obviously having the proof. And this is something that's come across in the podcast, is that because it was at the weekend, there was no construction work and they were at home, that doesn't mean to say it wasn't,
Yeah, it's shocking.
statistic.
We had one of my colleagues in the UK was sitting in a room with 24 apprentices really recently, and he did ask the question, has anybody here been touched by suicide? And all but 4 raised their hand. That's just 24 young people. So it is quite shocking.
Alan, can I turn to you?
No problem.
I'm going to throw a curveball at you because that's what we like to do here.
I'm well used to them. Don't worry.
This is a fairly hard topic to discuss. So look, in fairness, we don't want to be all doom and gloom about it. And there is a light for everybody that's listening or everybody that's watching. This is a good news story. This is not a bad news story. And, statistics need to be backed up. So this is why we need to talk about it. But I'll throw a curveball at you, Alan, just to get things kicked off. What about the mental health of health and safety professionals themselves?
That's a right curveball, and thanks for that. I suppose we're just you talked about putting the light on the subject. It's worth remembering the name of the charity, the Lighthouse Club, the beacon of light, and the significance of that. And around Ireland and the UK, we have beacons around on both the islands there, beacons of light. where you need
Love
to go.
that.
So it's a fantastic thing. And as we all know, over in Ireland, those that are tuning in today from Ireland, with the Darkness in the Light there 2 Saturdays ago, which is
That's
now
right.
a global event. And 4:15 in the morning, I had an opportunity to be in it there last year. And it's a very somber, but a very fulfilling event to attend and participate in there as well. And it's worth
Yeah.
mentioning as well another event which people should consider. We have I'm involved in the athletics community, but they have what's known as a remembrance run or a remembrance walk in November, where we remember people that have passed in the last year, the month of November. And it would be, for me, I think, I haven't done it a number of times. It's a lovely way to bookend your year with your Darkness in the Light, and then the remembrance run for people that have gone as well. But that's for
Yeah.
another day's discussion. To go back, the health and safety professionals, we are very much like I described earlier on. We sometimes can be seen as kind of the mother superior, or go down and see Alan, or go and see
Yeah.
Ben
Yeah.
or John or Paddy, and they
But you're
sort of
absorbing all
praise the
that.
world.
You have to
Yeah,
absorb.
you are.
Yeah.
I suppose what we do is like on pretty much all of our projects we have two HSE people and working with very tight teams. You know, the teams are working together: site managers, project managers, senior engineers, HSE advisor there as well. And some of our large scale projects we could have multiple HSE advisors. We also have a mentoring I can only talk about in the company I work for, but I'll talk about a little bit about it. So we have a very active mentoring program there. And a lot of companies are now doing that now. We're checking in on the HSE guy and girl. How are you getting on? You had an event the last couple of days. I'll drop down, we have a cup of coffee. How are you feeling? So forth. Because you always have that situation after particularly a significant event where, you have this awful empty feeling within you. Did I notice that, or I've had to take statements or whatever there as well. And like that can be very, very tough. So it really calls on the HSE professional to look at oneself and to be open and say, have the conversation and look for the support, and the help and support is there. And we're here to talk about the Lighthouse Club, but a lot of organisations, they'll have employee system programs and mental health first aiders, which Mary mentioned there earlier on. So the network is getting bigger, and rightly so. Like that, I heard an interesting statistic this morning that there's close on nearly 200,000 people were working in the sector. And you think of all the tertiary sectors that are now, obviously getting the bounce from construction, and we're as we know, housing is a massive topic for discussion, as we know. But the supports are there, and being involved in the industry since 1990, through the 90s into the 90s and so forth, it's certainly getting better. The challenges are still there to get the message out, and particularly with the male counterparts in the industry. But the younger people are really taking on board this, which is fantastic to see. Old people that are a lot older, that we've different ways of dealing with it. Some people, there's various different things that people do. I know certainly in the case of myself, my release from stress is to go out for a run. That's some people like music or play an instrument or whatever, and some people cycle. But for me, a run clears a lot of stuff and so forth. But I'm very lucky that I have a fantastic network around me in the company in Walls, and I have friends and family and friends that are very supportive there as well. So it's to be looking at that as well. And as I said earlier on, if somebody's not themselves, the life and soul there, and one of the days you go in there, they're not, and whether they're HSE person or an engineer, just how are you getting on? How was the weekend? And having the chat and the conversation, because people generally, if they will open up, and it's just asking, it's just affording the time. And I always say, if you think somebody is in that space, say, let's go outside and grab a coffee outside, or a quiet place.
I love that.
Get away from all the noise. And we very much live in a world where we're surrounded by messaging and all sorts of stuff. But to go to a quiet place and have the conversation and say, listen, well, have you heard of the Lighthouse Charity and the supports that they provided? I keep alluding to the fact that we are very much signposting here. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a counsellor. You have to be very aware of your parameters and what you can do. One of the things that I instill in members of my HSE team is, always know where you need to reach out for assistance and support. And the sign of a good HSE professional, or anybody in any profession, is to know where to ask for that bit of help and then support as well.
And the
and there's
beauty about
nothing wrong with that. Just be afraid of by doing that.
yeah, sorry for the cut across you, Alan. But the beauty about the Lighthouse Charity is that it's construction focused.
Yes.
And it needs to be said, with all due respect to all of the other charities, and just not to say there's anything wrong with any of those charities, not at all. But when you're talking the language of construction, there's a kind of a language of construction that you need to talk. There's a certain way people talk within the construction sector, as you know. And they want to talk to somebody at that sort of tone and that sort of understanding and empathy. And I feel from even listening to the UK counterpart of the Lighthouse Charity, from talking to people involved in that charity, that is a fundamental part of it as well, is that we get you, we understand you, we know where you're coming from, we know where the stresses are within that sector that you are. And I think you've mentioned something really important, which is to take somebody out of the environment that they're in when you know that there's a trigger point here. Remove the person out of the situation into a safe environment. It doesn't, even if it's down the road in a Starbucks to go for a coffee, just to take them out of that sort of immediate risk zone. It's a beautiful way you put it. I suppose you've mentioned one or two things. Is there, as an employer, is there something other? Is there kind of trigger points that I need to be aware of, to need to focus in and go, hold on a minute, there's an issue here? Is there any sort of key areas that you can give us?
I suppose it probably goes back to the mental health first aider, and the importance of having that training done. And I suppose there's a lot of focus now on psychosocial risks. The recent conference in Pro Park, there's discussion like psychosocial risk and stress, and everything goes with it there as well there too. So looking at that and the duty on the employer to look at this, and the duties of the employee to seek assistance there as well is really, really important. The one thing that I would say, Mary alluded to about the van. The van is like the lighthouse, the beacon. When the van is driven by guys that have been through this, have had to do with maybe a mental health, or maybe something in their personal lives, maybe bereavement, or maybe a breakdown of a relationship, or maybe financial. The guys in the van, I know that's a statement that we often hear, the man in the van, or the guys in the van. But the van is very, very much, when it arrives to site, a very wonderful thing happens. The guys are kind of shimmying over to the van, and the guy comes out and he talks about it. We've one particular guy who drives the van over the UK, Andy Bishop, or Bish. He's fantastic, a larger than life character. But the guys will talk about their own experiences and what they've been through. And you can hear a pin drop, what's going on. They are genuinely listening. And the reason why they're listening is because they're listening to somebody talking that has lived the experience.
Yeah.
And it works in construction.
100%.
Whether they be a brickie or a steel fixer or a driver or whatever, that they know it. And what happens is, when the talk is over, the lads will stay around a half an hour or 45 minutes. And they're there and available. But to see somebody going over, say, listen, can I have a word with you, Andy, or have a word with you, Craig? I lost my brother through suicide. Or what you said today really meant something to me. Can I have 5 minutes of your time? Yeah. And to see that happening in a very much, and it's changed, the industry is changing so much. It's fantastic to see the amount of women that have come into the industry in the last couple of years. I think that is a fantastic thing to see. The industry is becoming more of a softer side to it, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But to see grown men, burly men, going up and saying and talking about suicide or bereavement with these guys, and seeing the appreciation there by somebody listening, is a fantastic thing. And those guys will go back there and they'll share their experiences talking to the others, and and that's opened a line of conversation. And you can have all the books, and you can have all the information out there as well, but the spoken word and the communication, it's so important. And we've kind of lost that, I think, in a lot of things, the way we live our lives daily.
100%.
Having the art of conversation. And I know I have an opportunity in recent months, when myself and Mary, we were at events, and I've introduced Mary to people, and to see that lovely art of conversation and the introduction, it just means so much. And people feel special when you remember their name, or you introduce them to somebody. And we need to do more of that as as people of the world, not just on this platform here
Do you know
today.
the thing, Alan? Do you know the thing that gets me when you're talking is you're operating in a very large scale tier one company, construction company. Everything you've said has nothing got to do with major money and effort in order to achieve. Like, that's the key thing here. That this is an open access, open source dialogue arrangement where communication is key, where you have the skill set and the training, albeit at a very fundamental level or basic level, that you can identify that person looks like they're isolated, that person hasn't talked in the last couple of hours, that person's kind of gone in on themselves, that person is staring in ways that kind of lets me believe, like, and don't be afraid to be the one that just goes, oh, look, I'll leave him alone. He's probably just having a bad day. Go over and have a chat with him or her and say, look, how are you getting on? What's the crack?
Yeah.
The urge are great. And what's the crack?
What's the crack? And trying to explain that to somebody that's not from Ireland, because there's different connotations around the world.
Yeah.
But I think that the one thing that we need to be aware of is that, and we are a large tier one, and and it's fantastic to see. I was on site yesterday. We have a map of the world in one of our projects, and we had a gentleman with me yesterday who would be regarded as a guru in the health and safety world in Ireland. I won't mention names, but I showed him a map of the world and all the different nationalities working for Walls, the company, and that's replicating all the tier ones and all the other contractors as well. We are a sector now embracing people from different nationalities. And the other thing is as well, having a happy workforce, having a healthy workforce, but having a workforce that feels wanted and appreciated.
Yeah,
it creates a level. It creates a bounce or a fee or a level of well-being. It also creates a feeling. I'm not just a number here. I'm participating in a project, whatever the value it is, and I'm making a difference there as well. And when people feel valued and they feel appreciated, it does give them a lift, because we go home today after we've done the podcast. We do whatever we do. We engage wherever. A lot of people over living in Ireland, and I'm sure probably around the world. Maybe they're far from home, and maybe they're the main breadwinner, and they're sending money back, and they may be going back to a flat. Maybe they're sharing with other people, or maybe going back into a flat they're living on their own. But being appreciated for the work that you do during the day is it's a very uplifting feeling, and it might encourage them to say, you know what, this is an avenue maybe to get involved. Maybe I could become a spokesman for the Lighthouse Club on the ground.
Yeah.
Maybe I can talk to the site manager or the foreman and say, listen, a previous job I was on there, the Lighthouse Club were out, and the lads were fantastic, and Mary Grady followed up with the contractor, and a couple of the companies become supporters there, and why don't you think about doing that? So the line continues, so the chain gets bigger and bigger. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a community here. We're trying to build a community of people getting involved with the charity. We still get people, and I'm sure Mary will support me, we still get people, I've never heard of the Lighthouse Charity. And so you work in construction, yeah, but the more people that talk about it, and we'll talk a little bit in a few minutes about our fantastic big event on the 12th of June. Yeah. It's all about getting it out there, and all about making people realise that it's an organisation that has a genuine value. It's an organisation that genuinely cares. It's an organisation that's for construction workers. It's not for that sector. It's for you guys. We're living and breathing it. So are you too. Let's meet and let's make things better. And let's look out, and it's looking out for each other. That's what we want to do.
And I think, if you don't mind me saying so, it's about casual conversations, and it's about having people feel relaxed in the workplace environment, that they have this sort of release mechanism. And I think back to one of our episodes where we had a guy on who is a barber, and he basically lands up to the construction site with all of his barber chairs, and his barber friends dedicate a day of their time to just cut people's hair on site and let them have a chat, because they felt that when they were in the relaxed, the barber probably knows more about people than anybody else.
And the taxi man and the taxi woman.
And the taxi man and taxi woman, the whole lot.
You have to be very careful with these things. All right, Mary.
I suppose the real message here is that, well-being is more more than fruit cups and oatmeal, breakfast and that type of thing. It is really about having the conversation.
Yoga man.
And that's what we're hoping to get out of all of this, that it's okay to have that chat. It's okay to open up. Everybody has the same issues. And if you're struggling, those struggles walk on site with you. And, you need to be able to talk to somebody about it. So I guess really that is the key message. It's okay to talk. And we just need to be able to give people the space to do that and to kind of invite
100%.
them for the quiet chat, etc. Give them the opportunity to open up.
Considering Alan has taken up most of the talk time on this podcast, I think I'll switch it over to you, Mary. Let's me or you just were excluded
he's a
from
very
the
good advocate.
I tell you, he's proper salesman. I don't know. I don't think
other avenues there, but we leave it at that for today.
I think he missed his calling. I think there's a salesman in there, or there's a front of house person that can just.
Well, I did all that. I did that in a former life, but
there you
moved
go.
away from it. Sorry, Mary.
It was brilliant. You did an excellent job on it, by the way, and
okay, thank you.
obviously
brilliant.
you would be in the position you're in only for that. Hello, gaffers. Hope you're enjoying the podcast. We love every one of the guests that we have, but in order to bring on more great guests, we'd love to build the channel with you. So hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and let's create a really great community where we bring in better and better guests for you to deliver great content and great pieces of information that you can take back into your business. Now, back to the podcast. Thank you. Serious topic. We need to get minds, hearts, and wallets, if you have them, on the day, focused on 12th of June this year in Dublin, Ireland. Obviously, we've an international audience, and we're not expecting everybody to fly in, but people can support the charity, and if you like what you do, which obviously there's no question about what you guys do, it's admirable and it's honourable, and we appreciate everything that you do. Mary, what's the event about? How does people get involved? What can we do?
Well, the event really is about getting people together to network and talk and talk about their experiences, etc. There will be a fantastic panel on the day that Alan had no small part of it, a huge part actually, in putting together. There's a sports panel there that will talk about their struggles and how they've got to where they are and how they cope. We will have people who will talk about their lived experience, having reached out to the Lighthouse for help in the past and the impact that it's had on their life. So we will have those. We have Ivan Yates emceeing the event on the day, and he's always a bit of a character, so that should be good as well. And we have some great entertainment coming up there as well. And there are lots of ways you can support it, even if you can't attend the event. You can purchase a banner for the event, advertising your company. You can bid on the auction items. Where this year, for the first time, we're actually having auction items available online that people can bid for, even in advance of the event taking place. So there's lots of different ways that you can support the event, and all support is really, really greatly appreciated. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without the support of people that really give so generously to us. And I have been really, really amazed at the companies that have reached out and said, "Oh, we'll donate 2 tickets for, or we'll donate whatever for whatever prize." I mean, it's been incredible. The Irish people have always been great about supporting events. We see it with the FTT brothers running around Ireland at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the support within Irish people to support people who need it is just incredible. We just have that empathy, for other people, and we're very grateful for that. We really recognise that, and we're hoping that people will support the event. Ticket sales are going well, but the more the merrier.
Brilliant. You don't have to, as you say yourself, you don't have to attend in order to fund or give some funding. You can go online onto, is it lighthouse.ie or what's the website?
It's lighthousecharity.org, and if
.org.
you go into the
Okay.
events tab, you will get into the summer lunch there. And very shortly, we have a lovely lady who helps coordinate things, Iris from Penny Pop, and she will be putting out details on the auction on how to bid on that. So they will be coming out shortly. We're hoping that people will get on board with that as well.
And what
So
about
just wanted to
volunteers?
mention
If people just want to volunteer their
sorry.
time, Alan. Sorry, apologies.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right. No, just I suppose just the details. It's Friday the 12th of June in the round room in the Mansion House, the historic round room. We've been given permission by the Lord Mayor of Dublin to park the Make It Visible van outside the Lord Mayor's residence as well. So that is very much a beacon as you walk down. It's a fantastic afternoon, as Mary has. She said everything pretty much you want to say about it. And the last number of years, we've been blessed with fantastic weather. It'll be Mary's first time to attend the event this year. There's a lovely vibe in the room, and the underlying message there. It's okay not to feel okay. Support and getting it out there. So I said we've very limited tickets left. It's fantastic. We'd love to get as many bids as we can for the auction, the online auction.
Yeah, so if you're international guys, there's a good Irish contingency across the world as well. You don't have to be Irish to get involved here, but there's some fantastic auction prizes there, but that's irrelevant. You're making a great impact into people's lives, and these guys are doing an amazing job in their own right. They're giving up their own time and effort, and it's for a great cause. This is one of the biggest risks, if not one of the biggest risks in construction, and it's not getting better. But people like the Lighthouse Charity and what they do are putting in measures to try and break the mold and to make the change, and for us to turn around as individuals, as Alan said, and look at each other and say, look, you're all right. Do you need a chat? Do we need to go have a cup of coffee? That in itself is a major intervention. We're not asking you to be medical experts and to be psychiatrists or anything else. We're just asking you to be one as a co-worker or as somebody that's on a construction site. It doesn't matter if it's not one of your own workers. It could be with another contractor. It could be anyone. It could be the architect. It could be the client. Yeah. But look for the signs. If you see it, maybe just reach out to them, have a quiet chat, a discreet chat with them. But for you as an employer, if you're listening to this, 100%, please get involved, get in touch, reach out to these guys. Have it as part of your induction process, that there's a number there that they can ring as part of your health and well-being program for bringing new people on board, so that they know that they have this outreach. And I think that's one of the big takeaways for me, is that maybe we don't have that as a sort of a mechanism to say to people, boy, here's the job, here's the function, here's the competency required. But hey, here's the thing about you. Here's what you need to be aware of if you have bad days, or if you're going to have a bad day, or if you have issues that affect your performance. These are areas that you can look into in order to get support. Mary and Alan, I want to thank you very much for your time and your patience. And I wish you the very best and success on the 12th of June. We're going to put all the show notes and links and all that kind of stuff into the comments. So anybody that wants to donate or wants to get involved, we'll have the links included. We wish you the very best on the day, and thank you so much.
As I was kind of wrapping up there, you mentioned about reaching out. If anybody reach out to your project manager, site manager, your HSE advisor, certainly in the public out work. Our teams are well versed in relation to that. If you're interested in getting involved, we'd absolutely love to have you involved. And signposts as well, how you find out.
No problem, Mary. Thank you, Alan.
Could I just mention before we finish up that we are putting in a kind of call out for volunteers across all of Ireland, to support at events, to support with mental health awareness talks as well. And, if that's something you're interested in, please do reach out. I'd be happy to hear from you. And secondly, the pathways to help. We have our helpline, we have our web chat, we have our app, the Lighthouse Charity app, that you can download on your phone. Everybody has a smartphone now, so you have access to the web chat, you have access to apps, etc. They're all available, so please use them. We also have our Lighthouse Beacons. These are not lighthouse organisations, but they're organisations that we partner with here in Ireland and in the UK. For example, I know at the 40-foot we have the Blue Balls Club where they go for a swim on a particular night at 7 o'clock. People can just turn up. But we've all sorts of other meetings and organisations that we partner with across Ireland and the UK if you're away from home and need support. And I just really wanted to kind of put it out there that there are lots of ways to get help. And if something that we've spoken about today has triggered you, or you feel you need support, please reach out. Our helpline number is 1-800-939-122. Our web chat is available, and we also have a text hard hat service to 50808 where you can text that you need some support, and we will arrange to go back to you. Really, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew how to access support.
Fantastic, guys. The very best of luck, and we'd love to have you on the show again, maybe next year, just to drive another promotion for this very, very important event. Thank you very much for joining us, guys, and we'll see you again in the future.
Thanks very much, Gavin.